The day has finally arrived, when Donald Trump delivers upon his promise of disclosing classified files related to UFOs and aliens that have been kept secret by the US government and military for decades. On Friday, the long-awaited UFO files are set to be released by the White House. But a shocking thing is that pastors across the United States are also being briefed about the imminent UFO and alien disclosure. Why are pastors specifically being briefed behind closed doors? Is the alien disclosure something that has already been prophesied in the Bible? Additional releases are expected to roll out weekly in phases, rather than through a massive single data dump, like the releases of the assassination of John F. Kennedy and the Epstein files. Tim Burchett acknowledged that some members of Congress continue to oppose the disclosures, but said he remains confident that Donald Trump will follow through on his pledge to release the files. He also added that the transparency won't all happen at once, it will take some time. But shockingly, a well-known evangelist has made bombshell claims that has rattled everyone in the religious community. Evangelist Perry Stone has claimed that pastors were privately briefed by individuals connected to the US government. According to Stone, several pastors were gathered and warned about an upcoming disclosure related to aliens and UFOs.
A large number of pastors that had been invited to go to a certain state to hear some men in the United States government and others share with them a concern that they had. There's going to be a release concerning aliens and concerning unidentified flying object spacecraft, that some of the people who were in the meeting were telling us as pastors, you need to prepare your people and you need to get ready to answer them for what you're about to hear being released.
An unnamed politician allegedly told them, "There's going to be a release concerning aliens, you need to prepare your people." Stone further claimed that officials fear such revelations could deeply shake or challenge Christian beliefs, and hence the churches should be ready to keep their congregations together. Back in March, the US Vice President J.D. Vance said on a podcast, "I don't think they're aliens, I think they're demons anyway, but that's a longer discussion." Does the second most powerful person in the United States know something that we will know soon? Are aliens actually demons or fallen angels? And what should we expect after this disclosure? Will aliens finally make first contact with humanity? The idea of alien contact in 2027 is not as far-fetched as you might think. In fact, the exponential rise in the number of UFO sightings over the last few years suggests that we are edging closer to a moment in history where contact with extraterrestrials may actually happen. Similarly, the increasing number of metallic spheres that are being spotted all over the world, from Colombia, Chile, to Colorado and even the Middle East, suggests that aliens might be conducting some kind of reconnaissance before making first contact. So, why 2027? What makes this year stand out as the potential turning point for alien contact? The first clue comes from ancient prophecies, some of which predict that 2027 will be the year humanity finally makes contact with extraterrestrial beings. These prophecies, found in both religious texts and the writings of ancient civilizations, have long been subjects of fascination. Some of these predictions reference cosmic alignments and celestial events that are supposed to occur around 2027, suggesting it could be a pivotal year for intergalactic communication. Also, over the past few years, several well-known figures have made bold claims about alien contact. In 2020, former CIA Director John Brennan mentioned that the government was aware of phenomena that could not be easily explained, and hinted that extraterrestrial life could soon be revealed to the public. Could these statements be laying the groundwork for something huge in 2027? Have they known about extraterrestrial life all along? And if aliens do contact us in 2027, how would they handle it? For years, conspiracy theorists have pointed to Area 51, Roswell, and other classified locations as evidence of the government's awareness of extraterrestrials. The conspiracy theory goes that governments around the world, particularly the United States, have been in contact with alien species for years but have kept it under wraps for fear of global panic, national security concerns, and religious implications. In 2020, the Pentagon confirmed the existence of the UFO Task Force, which was dedicated to investigating unidentified aerial phenomena or UAPs. The UFO Task Force was later succeeded by the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office or ARO in 2022. Similarly, the recent UFO Congress hearings, where reputed military personnel have spoken about their close encounters with UFOs, and even released a classified video of the US military attacking a UFO with a Hellfire missile, only goes to add more credibility to extraterrestrial life. This acknowledgement from high-ranking officials raised even more questions. If the government is openly admitting to the existence of UFOs now, could alien contact be imminent? Some believe that the coming years, leading up to 2027, will be a period of gradual disclosure, where governments slowly release more information about alien encounters, leading up to an eventual open communication with extraterrestrial life. Like ufologist Jeremy Corbell, who recently made a shocking disclosure that in 2027, governments around the world would tell us about an alien craft slowly making its way to Earth.
That there is a craft slowly making its way to us here on Earth.
How Jeremy Corbell has such classified information about something that might happen in another 2 years is still unknown. But the potential for alien contact in 2027 brings with it both excitement and uncertainty. On one hand, contact with an alien civilization would be the greatest breakthrough in human history. It would prove that we are not alone in the universe, and that intelligent life exists beyond our planet. It could also revolutionize our understanding of science, technology, and even our place in the cosmos. But on the other hand, the implications of alien contact are also daunting. How would we as a species react to the sudden realization that we are not the most advanced beings in the galaxy? Would we welcome the aliens in peace, or would we fear that they would attack us for our resources, as shown in most Hollywood movies? We will only have to wait and watch.
All right, Shalom, Shalom. This is Brother Shakar here with another lesson through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rakah Kwadash, and double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of the great millstone, from which I learned this truth. Peace and blessings to the house of David, doing his work with all righteousness, truth, and sincerity. And I want to say shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom. All right, just wanted to get into a lesson, just wanted to expound, because we went over it, at camp on Saturday, but I wanted to bring out a couple more scriptures, because the understanding, of the deception that's coming, needs to be known. You see, this devil, Esau, the Edomites, they're going to come with madness, man. Okay, we know that the chariots, which they call so-called UFOs, UAPs, orbs, so on and so forth. Those are the vehicles that the angels maneuver in. You see, and even our Lord, Yahushai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus the Christ, he's coming, in a big UFO, or so-called UFO, you see. But let me, first, I just want to say Salaki, because it was a long intro, but, I think a lot of it, is good, for the lesson. Well, let me go ahead and just start here in Psalms chapter 104, and I'm going to start at the top. Verse 1, it says, "Bless the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, O my soul, O my Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, my power. Thou art very great." It says, "Thou art clothed with honor and majesty, who coverest thyself with light, as with the garment." It says, "Who stretches out the heavens like a curtain, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters." Listen, "who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings, of the wind." See, that's how the Lord coming back, man. in the so-called UFO, okay, the chariots, okay, along with the rest of the angels. See, when the Lord comes back, he's coming back to do two things. He's going to come bring deliverance to the elect of Israel, okay, and he's going to bring destruction, okay, to so-called America and wherever else the Lord has allotted destruction. You see, let me get the deliverance part first. Let's go to Luke. And there's plenty of scriptures on it, but I just want to, again, expound on, our lesson on Saturday, just bring out a few more scriptures. Again, because that deception that they're getting ready to bring forth, man, okay, it's gonna have a lot of people, okay, with their minds, just going astray. He said they're not gonna have that understanding, but those that understand, hey, they know, okay, what these vehicles are. Okay, they know what these so-called UFOs are. Again, they are the chariots, okay, the vehicles that the Lord and his angels ride upon. So this is Luke chapter 21, and let's go to verse 25. We'll start there. And it says, and there should be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity. It says the sea and the waves roaring. And we're seeing all these things, man. The wars, the rumors of wars, the people that are in uproars. Okay, we're seeing the chariot sightings. Okay, all these different moons. Okay, we're seeing all kinds of stuff going on. Okay, the Lord has given us these tokens, these signs to tell us, okay, the times that we're in. Listen, it says men's hearts fell in them for fear, meaning their minds, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. You see, and again, it's going to go to this so-called disclosure. You see, people are going to be worried about another thing now, but this is what they want. They want the people in great confusion. And this place is already confusion, Babylon, okay, Babal, but it's even going to be more so. Again, it says men's hearts fell in them. It says for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. And we know that the elites, man, they're weird in their councils, man. They're afraid. They're afraid. They've seen the chariots, with their with their technology, man. They know what's coming. That's why they're gearing up to fight the Lord. Okay, but they're not going to win, man. They're going to lose. It says for the powers of heaven, shall be shaken. Speaking about, again, those at the elite level, man. Okay, they know. Okay, that's the Lord, man. That's the Lord. Okay, and the angels, and they're coming in those so-called UFOs. It says, and then shall they see the Son of Man, which is Yahushai, coming in a cloud. You see, did we not just read? Okay, the Lord makes the clouds his chariot. That's how he's coming. Listen, again, it says, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. See, he's coming in that magnificent, okay, apparel, man. Okay, coming with the host of heaven. They're coming in those UFOs, man, those so-called UFOs. It says, and when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads. Listen, for your redemption draweth nigh. Because that's how the Lord's going to deliver his people, man. Okay, he's going to beam his people, okay, into that fathership or into those little ships, and then the ships are going to take, okay, the elect to the fathership. However the Lord does it. Okay, and we know the apostle mentioned that fathership's going to be so big that all the elect, okay, will be able to fit in it. You see? But again, however the Lord does it, hey, that's going to be the deliverance, okay, of the Lord's elect, man, the elect of Israel. All right, let me get another one on that. Let's go to Matthew chapter 24, and let's go to verse 30. It says, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming, in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. So again, you're going to have the tribes of the earth mourning. Why? Because of the destruction the Lord's going to bring. Yeah, he's bringing deliverance, but he's also going to bring destruction. Those are the two things that the Lord's going to do. But they're not going to tell you this. In their so-called disclosure, they're not going to mention these things. No, they're going to mention little green men, okay, big gray men, okay, Anunnaki, reptilian-looking beings, okay, however they say it, man, okay, it's just going to be what? Madness, folly, okay, deception, it's going to be lies. Listen, and he shall send his angels, with the great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect, listen, from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other, from all over the earth, man. Again, because we are a scattered people, man. You see, not one of the elect's going to be left behind, man. Matter of fact, let me grab that. That's Amos chapter 9. And let me see. Yeah, verse 9. It says, for lo, I will command and I will sift, listen, the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve. It says, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. You see? So that's going to be what the deliverance of his elect being gathered, okay, from the four corners. But listen, this is what's going to happen to, okay, the sinners, man. Okay, the 2/3. Okay, the 2/3 right here in so-called America, and those of the 2/3 mindset, okay, across the four corners of the earth who've been allotted for destruction. It says, listen, all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil should not overtake nor prevent us, because they have that mindset that nothing's going to happen. Okay, that's why they stay, in that wicked mindset, man. Okay, they don't come out of it. Ultimately, it's because they're not of the Lord's elect. So wherever the Lord's allotted destruction, hey, man, the wicked going to die there. The wicked of the nations, okay, the wicked Edomites, and then the wicked 2/3. But we also know that there's going to be some that are going to be left for what? Ezekiel, okay, the 20th chapter, man. Those that are going to go into the wilderness. See, but that's a whole nother topic. Okay, ultimately, the wicked, 2/3 here in America are going to be destroyed. And those of the 2/3 mindset across the four corners of the earth, okay, you're going to receive judgment as well, man. Again, however the Lord does it. All right, let me go to Zechariah. I'm going to get this in the NLT. Zechariah, the 5th chapter, Zechariah chapter 5 in verse 1. Now, the subheading in the King James says, the flying scroll. It says, I looked up again and saw a scroll flying through the air. Now, it's speaking about a chariot, man, a so-called UFO. It says, what do you see? The angel asked. It says, I see a flying scroll. I replied, it appears to be about 30 feet long and 15 feet wide. So it's actually a smaller chariot, man. It's a smaller so-called UFO. It says, then he said to me, this scroll contains a curse, listen, that is going out over the entire land. One side of the scroll says that those who steal will be banished from the land. The other side says those who swear falsely will be banished from the land. Now, who's done this? Well, Esau, man, the Edomites, first and foremost. So they stolen everything that they have. They gotten it what? Through ill-gotten gain, man. Okay, through the sword. Well, it's their blessing. And then they sworn falsely, okay, on the Lord's name. Because ultimately the elites, they know the Lord's name. But what names have they given us? Okay, falsehoods, false names. Okay, Jesus the Christ. Okay, Yeshua. Okay, so on and so forth. No, these devils are nothing but liars. So that curse, okay, which is the chariots, it's going to go out throughout the four corners of the earth, man. Especially here in so-called America. Let's keep reading. It says, and this is what the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai of heaven's army says. And what are those armies in heaven? The chariots, man. The so-called UFOs. It says, I am sending this curse into the house of every thief and into the house of everyone who swears falsely using my name. It says, and my curse will remain in that house. It says, and completely destroy it, even its timbers and stones. So there's going to be nothing left, man. This place is going to be flattened. You see, and wherever else the Lord, okay, he's allowed destruction to come forth, man. And he's going to use those chariots, okay, those so-called UFOs, okay, to do it right along, okay, with the missiles, the warheads, especially here in so-called America. All right, let me grab this Jeremiah. Now go ahead and stay here in the blue letter. I'll read it in the NLT as well. Let me see, Jeremiah chapter 25. And let's go to verse 31. It says, his cry of judgment, listen, will reach the ends of the earth. It says, for the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai will bring his case against all the nations. It says, he will judge all the people of the earth, slaughtering the wicked, see, with the sword. I, the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, has spoken. It says, this is what the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, of heaven's army says, look, disaster will fall upon nation after nation. It says a great whirlwind of fury is rising from the most distant corners of the earth. See, it's the chariots, man. They're going to go around to the four corners of the earth, okay, turning people into powder, man. Again, especially here in so-called America. It says, in that day, those the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai has slaughtered will fill the earth from one end to the other. It says, no one will mourn for them. It says, or gather up their bodies to bury them. They will be scattered on the ground like manure. See, like piles of shit, man, everywhere. Okay, that's what the Lord's going to leave. Listen, weep and moan, you evil shepherds. And who's the shepherds? Okay, those that are supposed to be telling our people the truth. Okay, but what are these so-called pastors, preachers going to do? They're going to bring out deception. They're going to bring out lies. Listen, it says, roll in the dust, you leaders of the flock. The time of your slaughter has arrived. It says, you will fall and shatter like a fragile vase. It says, you will find no place to hide. There will be no escape. It says, listen to the frantic cries, see, of the shepherds, the leaders of the flock wailing, see, in despair, for the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is ruining their pastures. It says, peaceful meadows will be turned into a wasteland by the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai's fierce anger. It says, he has left his den like a strong lion, seeking his prey, and their land will be made desolate by the sword of the enemy and the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai's fierce anger. What's the sword of the enemy, man? Okay, that's the so-called missiles, the warheads, especially here in America again. You see, in that fierce anger, it's going to come with them chariots, man. Again, he's going to turn people into powder. You see, so this is how the Lord's coming, man. Okay, he's going to come to bring what? Deliverance, and he's going to come to bring destruction. So with that, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I'm going to go ahead and close out and give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah, Quadash, and double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of the great millstone, from which I learned this truth. Peace and blessings to the house of David, doing this work with all righteousness, truth, and sincerity. And I want to say shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom.